Hello everyone, welcome to Sanology. I am Sanat and today I want to show you how to make a rosemary shampoo. Rosemary is one of the ingredients that is natural and it's actually clinically approved, help us to have thicker hair, and it also help to grow our hair. So there was a trial that they compare minoxidil, which is rogam, with rosemary, and they find the same result. It was a head-to-head trial and they compare these two ingredients in the same situation, and they find the same result from rosemary, that it can help us to have thicker hair with this advantage that rosemary doesn't have side effect like minoxidil, because minoxidil can bring itchy scalp and also can bring redness to our scalp, but rosemary doesn't have such effect. So I use 2% rosemary in my shampoo and find out that the effect of using rosemary continuously in my hair care products helped me to have thicker hair. The other point for this shampoo is that I didn't use sulfate. So this is a sulfate-free shampoo. I used 3 different surfactants for my formulation. The percentage of surfactant is kind of high because I have a really oily scalp. It helped me to keep my hair fresh and clean after 2 days. So if you have dry scalp, you can reduce the percentage of surfactant, and you can add this percentage to water. But I recommend to not to remove one of the surfactant, because these 3 surfactant made a really good combination for better lather and also foam in my formulation. So it's better to make this formula. Well, first of all, it's better to start with our surfactant phase. For a surfactant phase, I use a big beaker and I start with my ionic surfactant, which is my first and main surfactant. I use sodium C1460 Olefin Sulfunate. That is a coconut-based surfactant, and it offers a very good cleansing and also lather in my formulation. And it is 50% in my formulation. Then I add another surfactant, which is Cocamidopropyl betaine. I use 15% of this one also in my formulation. It actually helps us to reduce the irritation effect of the other form of surfactant. The other surfactant that I add to my formulation that help us to have much thicker product at the end and also give us a really good lather is CoCo Glucoside, and I have it for 10% in my formulation. And then it's better to mix this surfactant phase all together and just keep it as a side and then work on the other phase of the formulation. And for our water phase, I use another clean beaker and I start by adding water to my formulation. I use 38% water in my formulation. Then I add my powder. The only powder that I have in this formulation is the Panthenol. And Panthenol is really good for hair and also help us to have much better and healthy hair. So I mix it with the water. It's better to mix it completely because we don't want to have solid form of ingredient inside our formulation. Then I add hydrolyzed silk peptide, which is a type of protein that I add to my formulation. You can use any type of hydrolyzed protein if you have in your hand. But for the silk, it's really good because it will give lots of shine in our formulation. And then I have propanediol 1 to 3. So hydrolyzed silk protein was 2% and propanediol also is 3% in my formulation. Then I add Honeyquat. So Honeyquat is a wonderful water-soluble moisturizer and it's a powerful humectant. I add it to my formulation by 3%. The other ingredient that I add, which is a really good conditioning, is polyquaternium 7. So it's a conditioning agent mostly used in shampoos, conditioners, and also hair care products. And I use it by 2% in my formulation. Then I add liquid Germa Plus, and liquid Germa Plus is 0.5% in my formulation, working as a preservative. for my oil phase, I use another beaker, smaller size, and I start my oil phase. And for this phase, I use first of all my essential oil. You can use fragrance or anything that you want to give kind of good smell to your formulation. And I use my essential oils by 1.5%. Then my active ingredient, which is rosemary extract, I use it 2% in my formulation. The other ingredient that I add to my formulation is LuxGlide N350, which is a natural form of cyclometicone or silicone. Then I add my solubilizer. I use NatraGem S140, which is an EcoCert solubilizer. And if you want to keep your formula EcoCert and also so natural, you can use this kind of ingredients in your formulation as a solubilizer instead of using polysorbate 20 or 80. Then I add my water phase to the oil phase, and I try to do it slowly, step by step, and mix everything together. Now it's time to add the mixture of oil phase and water phase to our surfactant phase. It's better to do it gradually, step by step, not to mix everything just at one time. So just be patient and mix everything really slowly, and be careful because we don't want to make lots of lather. Now our formulation is almost ready, and we want to use thickener, and I use Cortex to thicken up my formulation. First of all, I use only 1%, and step by step I add my formulation, mix it together, and again add the rest of the formula. And I found that I need totally 2% of the thickener or Cortex in my formulation. So you can check based on your formulation and based on the type of surfactant that you will use in your formulation. But for myself, it was actually 2% that I should add to my formulation. And now it's time to check the pH of our formulation. So my formula pH is almost 5.5, which is a really good good pH for our hair care. So if you try to keep the pH between 4.5 to 5.5 for the hair care products, that's going to be perfect, and it's really close to the skin natural pH. At the end of my formulation, I decided to add some color to my formula. I use the water soluble color. You can use anything, but keep in mind that it should be water soluble. So I use some kind of drops to give a really good color, almost pinky color to my formulation. I use this very small size of container because I am trying on making different formulation for shampoo. Definitely I will share with you different type of formula that I found out, but for this one I actually decided to make it in a really small batch. And yeah, today we made our rosemary shampoo. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.